We're going to talk about how to form the imperfect tense. The imperfect tense is a past tense, and we've learned how to use the preterite tense to talk about the past, but the imperfect tense is another tense used to talk about the past as well. It is usually used to talk about how things used to be, and we'll talk about the differences between preterite and imperfect in later chapters. But for this, we're really focused on how to conjugate in the imperfect tense. For example, if you've seen some examples, cuando yo era niña, mi familia y yo íbamos a la playa. Yo vivía en la ciudad de Chicago de pequeña. Cuando era pequeña, yo jugaba mucho con mis muñecas. So you can see different conjugations of certain verbs. Obviously, vivía comes from the verb vivir, jugaba comes from the verb jugar. But we'll see some irregulars as well. The great thing about it is AR verbs all conjugate the same way, where the endings are as follows: aba, abas, aba, abamos, abais, and aban. Note the accent on the nosotros form. ER and IR verbs all conjugate with accents: ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, and ian. The yo and the la usted verb forms are in the imperfect are the same. Make sure to use the words subject or context clues to clarify the meaning. So for example, if we had the word yo or tocaba la guitarra, we don't know if you're saying yo tocaba la guitarra or ella usted tocaba la guitarra. So using subject pronouns is important when you're using the yo form or the third person singular form to make sure we know who is doing what. There are only 3 irregular verbs in the imperfect tense. If it's not one of these 3 verbs, it is regular and has the aba and ias ending. Ser conjugates as follow: era, eras, era, éramos, erais, and eran. Note the accent on the nosotros form. Ir is iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, ibais, and iban. Again, accent on the nosotros form. And ver is veía, veías, veía, veíamos, veíais, and veían. Again, ver looks like it's taking the ER, IR endings, and it is. The only reason it is technically irregular is that the E reinserts itself back into the stem. So instead of just saying via, vias, via, we say veia, veias, veia. Do not confuse ear endings or the conjugation of ear with your ER, IR endings. Many times students will say things something like yo teniba instead of saying yo tenía. Some examples that you'll see: no fui a la escuela porque tenía fiebre. Tú trabajabas mucho de pequeño. You used to work a lot as a child. It was 2 o'clock. Eran las dos cuando empezó a llover. Alejandra used to dress in very pretty clothes. Se vestía de ropa muy bonita. Los estudiantes iban a la escuela todos los días. They used to go to school, or they would go to school every day. De niño, nosotros siempre bebíamos la leche. We used to always drink milk. And then finally, I always watched Arthur. Yo siempre veía Arthur. I always used to watch Arthur when I was a little girl. And finally, the children always used to brush their teeth. Siempre cepillaban los dientes. Again, your reflexive rules apply. You can just toss out the pronoun out front and you'll be totally fine.